Hi, Carter from Lang Originals. Today we're doing an instructional video on the center lifting bracket, and I will show you how this works with the 4-door Bronco when it lifts the full top or when it just lifts the back section. There's a little different configuration for both, and we're going to go over both of them. First, I'm going to show how the center lifting bracket is going to be used to lift the center section and the rear section. So this is only something that I have to do one time in the original installation. So I'm going to slip the bracket on, and the 1¼ inch square tube piece is going to be towards the front of the vehicle. So I'm going to drop this down into place, and then I'm going to put the eye bolt back into place so that it's ready for lifting. Then I'm going to move the top forward just slightly and slip this bracket right into place, and you'll be able to see how it fits right over the molding right here and just slips right into place. It also has a contour that comes up here and fits exactly with the contour of the top. I'm going to tighten that down once it's in place, and then I'm going to scoot the top back over the top in place, and then I'm going to put the L hook back up in the front. Finally, I need to reinstall or install the foam piece. So the foam is going to go on the back side here, and you'll notice that there's 2 holes in the bracket, and there are also 2 corresponding holes in the foam. So we're going to put the zip tie through the back of the bracket, through the white foam, and then there's a corresponding hole on both sides so that this will hold nicely in place. Zip that down. And we can even trim that end off to make it look tidy. So I'm going to reattach my quick link to the eye bolt. And then, of course, before I lift, I'm going to make sure that my safety nut is tight. The 3/8 inch nylock nut is going to be tight. And we already know this is tight, and that one we never loosened. So we are basically ready to lift. Now you do have an option at this point. You can turn the turnstiles on this side, the passenger side and the driver's side, not in the middle, but you can do the turnstiles on both sides if you want to, or not. You can leave those undone, and the only difference is that it will look like it's a little bit loose here on top, but it's being supported here and it's being supported by the bracket. And I'll show you how it looks when it's lifting with the turnstiles turned and without the turnstiles, and you can choose which one is best for you. If I just want to lift the rear section by itself, and that means I'm going to have to make some modifications to the frame. So I'm going to take the front eye bolt off, and I'm going to remove the long bar that's in the front. That's going to go in the back part of the Y. So I'm going to remove this eye bolt. I'm also going to remove this eye bolt as well. And I'm going to take the shorty 3/8 inch bolt that comes with your kit, and I'm going to insert this bar into the back of the Y, and I'm going to have about 11 inches coming out of the back, and I'm going to use the shorty bolt on here on the top of the Y to hold this in place. And again, this is about 11 inches. I'm just going to tighten that so it's snug. It doesn't need to be so tight that it bends everything. You just get it nice and snug. Then I'm going to take the eye bolt that was in the back, and I'm going to go all the way through the hole with the eye bolt, and I'm going to put the nut on the bottom. Now we supply a 3/8 inch nylock nut that goes on here so that it will not come loose. So put the nylock nut onto here, and then this eye bolt is going to go right back into place where it was. And I'm going to make sure that that safety nut is down and that that's tight. Then I'm going to put the lifting bracket right into place. Tighten that down. So now that I have the eye bolts in, you're going to notice that our dimensions here have changed. So we're going to have to change. So this is now at 34 inches. And so our dimension on the ceiling, the pulley, is going to have to change accordingly. One little hack here, if you don't really feel like you want to change the position on your ceiling, understandable, and you think you're going to be switching back and forth from lifting the center section to lifting the rear section only, you might be doing a hybrid of those two things. So what you can do is, instead of putting the shorty eye bolt here in the front position, you can put it right here in the lifting bracket, and then that can be used as your lifting point as well. This distance right here is closer to your 24 inches, which would be your lifting distance for the entire hoist atop in its whole. So instead of using the knob, you can use the 3/8 inch shorty eye bolt, and you can lift from this point right here instead of having to take it on and off and change the measurement on your ceiling. One thing that I noticed when I started to lift for the first time is that when I went to go lift, I noticed that the frame shifted forward, and I now need to adjust this center lifting bracket one more time and make sure that it stays snug and tight, along with the back brackets, because we don't want a bunch of slop in there. We want to make sure that the back brackets feel tight, which they do. If I pull forward, they're nice and tight. And then when I push on the center lifting bracket, it also is very nice and tight up against the top. And then I can tighten that down, and I know that I'm ready to lift. So when you do the first lift, make sure you lift a little bit, make sure everything looks good. For me, this bracket slipped forward just a little bit, so I knew I needed to undo it and push it back towards the back, and now I can try. And I can see that it's lifting straighter.